Hello, welcome to our quick start guide for our strategy builder product. So when you first downloaded our product, whether the demo version or the full version, the place it needs to go into is if you go to File in MetaTrade and there's Open Data folder, and then you need to go in, there's a subfolder there called MQL4 if you're on MetaTrader 4. If it's MetaTrader 5, then that will be called MQL5. So if you go in there, and then there's Experts folder, so you'll need to copy it into there. And then once you've done that, you can either right click, there's like a refresh on there on the navigator panel, or you can restart MetaTrader. If you can't see that navigator panel, just go to View or Control N and that will show it. The other thing you need to do as well with our software, if you go to Tools, Options, Expert Advisors tab, you need to add our website into the allowed web request URL. This is for the licensing, even if you're using the demo version. So you need that website there, runwisefx.com, which is the HTTP. There is another entry that you'll need if you want to see news events on our trade panel. So if you add that URL in as well, and what we'll do, we'll add those into the YouTube description for the video, so you can just copy and paste in. So then if you expand out the Expert Advisors section there, then you'll see our product in there, so just drag it onto the chart. Do tick that Allow Live Trading, and there's a similar option as well on MetaTrader 5. And then what you're going to see is the activation dialog, so just put your name, email, and the license key, whether that's the demo one with the demo hyphen to begin with, or the full license, and then click OK. Okay, and then you'll see the panel appear, and the news events will work if you've added that URL for the news events. Just make sure there's a smiley face on the panel and up in the top corner there, and if not, just make sure this auto trading is on green like that. If not, you may have to get in touch with your broker and ask them to enable Expert Advisors on your account. All being well, then it's running, and it's now currently is like a manual trade panel where you've got the stop loss on the chart there, where you've with the yellow line, we've got a take profit, we've got the lot size being calculated and so on. But obviously the big part of our product is that it's configurable with indicators, and you can actually build a strategy and see statistics and so on. So what we're going to do is to get going with that. So if you click Config, and this is how we can configure the system. So there's buttons there for setting the stop loss, the take profit, the risk. But if we click Activate Statistics, then what it's going to do is put the system, you can think of it as like a strategy builder mode, and it's going to calculate statistics. Now at the moment there's no indicators loaded, so what we can do is start adding indicators. And there's a couple of ways of doing it. It's possible, we have on our website, we've got this, if you go to runwisefx.com library, if you scroll down, we've got indicator settings, both for custom indicators that you may have installed on your system, or standard indicators. You can also, in terms of its standard indicators, you can actually add them directly into the product as well. So if you go to Config, Indicator Values to Capture, you can click New if there was something already populated, but it starts off as blank. And then we can start, if you click here, it's like because we've got the indicator name, but there's like a selection list, and that's all the ones built into the system. So all the standard ones that you may be familiar with, like moving average crosses and MACD and so on. And we've got a few of our own that are actually built into the product, and a very good one is this one, the Trend Pro. So if you select that one, and it fills everything out for you, so all you need to do is click Save. So now what it's done is added that indicator to the system, and it's calculated the statistics. So what it's done is looked at the indicator value. You can see it sort of transitions. Yellow means it's on the cusp of like buy and sell, green it's gone to buy, and when you get that colour change you can see like the simulated trade there. So it's all very quick. This is much more convenient than using the strategy tester with MetaTrader. So that's just what the stop loss was calculated out to be, and it's closed there at 3%, because if you go to Config, Take Profit, we've got a single take profit with a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, so that means risk reward ratio. The stop loss, by the way, is set, if we just go to stop loss, and it's there. Calculation method is ATR, quite a popular method. That's our default, so we do recommend that. And the risk per trade, you can change that under Config risk lots, we've got risk percent of account per trade. Brilliant. So what we can do now though is we've got the other charts open running our product, so different currency pairs, and you can use our product with other symbols as well, other asset classes, and different time frames as well. Got some open on the H4. And what we can do, we've got this brilliant tick box here, show other chart results, and if we tick that, what it's going to do, it's going to say to the other charts, it's going to put them into stats calculation mode. They're going to analyze the chart. You can configure, by the way, how far it goes back when it's looking for the statistics under config, statistics optimization, and that's how far back it's going to go. So this is doing 10,000 bars. So you can set it as that, bars, candles, or you can set it as the number of days to go back. So you can see that equates to 406 trade days on the H1 time frame. And then it's produced all of these stats from the other charts. So it's collated all the results from the other charts. And it's ordered them on profit. So this is a very good method for actually selecting which symbols to trade. So it shows you the best performing symbols. And obviously it's a really good way for you now to add in extra indicators to see if you can improve the profit calculation and the drawdown as well, based on that risk per trade of 3%. And you can see that down here there's like an average, so it looks at all of these and works out an average and then the average drawdown. So now what we can do is do that. We can start adding indicators and we can see what helps. And if at any time we make a configuration change and it actually makes these figures go down, and it'll show us there on the bottom row the change on last, we can revert back. So let's go and add another indicator. So if we go to config, and we need to go to indicator values to capture. Another good one actually is the awesome oscillator. So that's a built-in indicator, so you don't have to install anything extra into your platform, it's already built into MetaTrader. Click save. So what it's going to do is going to add that extra indicator in. It's going to recalculate the statistics. It's doing it on all charts, so all charts are now recalculating automatically because there's been a configuration change. And what it's doing now, it's reworking, and then at the bottom now, this change on last is showing you if there's been an improvement, and there is. So it colours it blue like this if there's been an improvement. So we've increased the profit, average profit, by 6.4%, and we've also reduced the drawdown, the average drawdown. So the drawdown, it's good news if we can reduce that, and it's good news if we can increase the profit. Okay, so let's carry on. Now, a big advantage of the system is you can indeed configure custom indicators. So if we have a look again in our library page, if we click on that link, it's got the settings for various. We begin with free custom indicators. There's some very good free indicators available that you can download, and also paid for as well. So if you've purchased a premium custom indicator, it's going to be possible to automate that. Even if it's not in our list, you can easily add them. We've got a whole video about how to configure indicators. It's not as hard as you may seem. But a very good free one that we recommend is this one, FGDI. Now it's just at the moment for MetaTrader 4, but we'll have a look, see if we can find a MetaTrader 5 version, because we're always improving this list. In fact, we should be adding more to it very soon. So you will need to download the indicator, and you will have to install it, and again you're going to have to install it in your data folder, but this time it'll be in this like an indicator subfolder, so it's going to need to go into there, and then you're going to be able to use it. Now, to actually get the system configured with that indicator, we've got these quick load codes at the side here, so you can just select those, and then what you can do to get that into the product, you just go to config, and it says get configuration direct from our website. So if you just paste that in there, click download, there's just a little confirmation. So what it's going to do now is go to our website, it's going to get the settings for that indicator. Okay, but not the indicator itself. You're still going to have to download that yourself. We can't do that, but we can download the configuration. It's now recalculating all the stats on all the different charts. Now don't forget, this would take you ages to do in the MetaTrader strategy tester. You'd have to do each symbol. I can't, you probably know yourself, it would take you absolutely ages. And you can see here what it's done is to improve the profit a little bit, and it's made a big improvement on the drawdown. And what this indicator does, by the way, it's like a filter. So let's just show you. So in here now you'll actually see it's appeared because we downloaded, and what it does, it's you should only trade with this indicator when the value that the indicator is returning is below this value 1.8, and we've set the priority higher and start. And what that means is if this indicator isn't in agreement when your others are, then don't trade. Just miss it. So it's like it allows you to like cherry pick trades. So let me just show you here. So what's happened, it's not taken this sell trade because that indicator was saying that the market was consolidating because it was a very strong buy and it was a bit unsure. So it's just trying to pick out the sort of higher probability trades, and we can see here with our stats it has made an improvement over all of these charts. That's great, and to see that drawdown come down is excellent as well. Okay, just one little thing I forgot to mention. Under config, under options, there is this high-speed testing. I do recommend ticking that if you're just working with indicators like we are now, and that just speeds the testing up a little bit in the stats generation. Okay, so next we come on to the next part of the system, which is the automatic optimization. Because if we look under the stop loss, there is a whole load of stop loss calculation methods, and each of those methods has a variety of properties associated with them. Or you could perhaps be trading with fixed pips as well, and you can even apply a minimum maximum to that calculated value and a little offset, add a couple of extra pips. You've got your trailing stop loss. On the take profit, there's lots of options there. You could actually have 2 take profit levels, where on the first target 1-to-1 risk reward ratio you could perhaps exit 50% and then set for break even, and also trail the stop loss as well. And then on the second target you could close 100%. So there's loads and loads of different combinations, but what the system can do for you is to automatically try them and just see which gives you the best profit but without increasing drawdown. So, and it's not just there, we've also got things like under general settings you've got trading hours, so you can tell when it's going to open trades. And of course on the indicators we've got things, if we go to our Trend Pro, there's all these different inputs. Okay, and the system, what it's able to do is those 4 inputs there, it can go through and just try different values and go through all the different combinations. We've got the min max for each of those inputs and just the step there. So there's a whole load of optimization that the system can do, and the way you activate it is if we just go to config, statistics and optimization, and there's these buttons here to start bulk optimization. And we've got a nice feature that we recently added where if you tick this box, then when you press this button it's not just going to do it for the current chart, but it'll send a message to the other charts to start optimizing. So all we need to do now is just click everything, and you can just close that down now. So what it's going to do, it does an initial scan just to get like a baseline, and then what it's going to do is go into optimization mode, where it's going to start trying all those different values. It's going to begin with the stop loss, it's going to try all those different calculation methods, and it's now doing it on the other charts as well. They'll kick off soon, and then once it's done the stop loss, it'll then start going through with the take profit, and it'll start looking at the indicator inputs and trading hours as well. Now it will take a long time to do, probably maybe a day or two. If you've got a powerful computer, obviously it'd be quicker, but it's still a lot faster than using MetaTrader's strategy tester. If you go to config, we've actually got an option where you can get it to automatically optimize when the markets are closed. So it could actually, over the weekend when there's no trading going on, it could actually go through and just have a look at the configured indicators and just see if it can find a better solution. And the main thing is it's trying to increase the profit but with the drawdown, so it'll only save the values for future use if it finds an improvement, and it'll report there if it finds an improvement, and again on the other charts as well. Okay, so the next thing to look at is once we've configured the system and optimized it, how do we actually get it to start trading? And if we go to config, general settings, and it's this auto mode. So at the moment we're just in alert mode, so all it would do is just alert you if there was a change in direction. But if you want it to start trading, we've got this trade continuous, then click save, and then it's then ready, and now if there's a fresh signal it'll actually start trading. Okay, and also what you can do is in the table here you can see how the various symbols are performing, and we can see that there's a few that aren't doing as well. Okay, particularly the euro, the Canadian often never does too well really. In fact, it's got the nickname the loonie, the Canadian dollar. So what you could do is perhaps on that euro CAD is you could untick entry on indicators, and that will actually turn off the entry for that particular chart. So you have got those options. So that's where you can just do a little bit of manual intervention. And obviously if you are an experienced trader, you may indeed want to make some like little manual adjustments. So allow the system to automatically open trades, that's great. But maybe you do want to do a little bit, perhaps adjusting a take profit in relation, because the system puts all these support resistance lines, and sometimes it can be nice to set a take profit around one of those lines. So the system is very adaptable, and it can be used for, we call it semi-automatic trading. So if you go to config, display, you can activate some additional controls on the panel. And just click save. So what it's going to do now is put that. If you've already configured the system, you can, and you're happy with the stats and you're happy with how it's, you can just go deactivate statistics, okay, and just focus just on the live trading as well. So now you can see these additional controls. So we've got all our sell controls for adjusting the stop loss on the fly, and the take profit as well, so you can make changes if you want to. So the config button, this is setting like the default stop loss, the default take profit, which obviously will have been optimized, but these are for like on the fly changes if you want to do that, and you can easily set for break even and things like that. Totally optional, you could leave it completely on automatic if you want to. A few other things to mention under config with the risk lots. You can set sort of the maximum spread for trade open, and how many tickets, maximum number to open at once. There's a few things like that you might set. And the other thing you can do is, of course, we have our library, which doesn't just contain the indicator settings. There's various filters, and we've got things like checking on news events, so we can avoid opening a trade too close to the news, because that can really blow your trade out of the water. So anything like that, you can just use the quick load code. And also we've got this various ones for displaying information on the charts that are very nice, but we've got some exit rules as well. And in a similar vein on the news, it can be a really good idea if you've got trades open to actually exit them before a big impact news event, because it can really blow your trade out of the water. So you can just take that quick load code. It's so easy. You just go to config, type in the code, click download, and then it's activated. It's loaded the rule now. So as long as that's ticked, what it's going to do, if there's a high impact news event, so a red one, then it's going to close the trade for you, if it comes up to that. And you can configure, just I think it's six minutes, something like that. It'll close the trade. And there's various other things in the library as well. There's a very popular one for like closing trades just before the weekend. It's a good idea not really to have trades open over the weekend, because you can get some big gap in the prices when the market eventually reopens. And there's also to close trades when it reaches your account reaches like an equity target and so on, or a certain amount of profit on the entire account, and then it can just close all trades. And there's one for like a daily profit target as well. So there's a lot of information, and of course all the time we're developing this library and adding things to it. And if there's something you'd like to see in there, do drop us a message and talk to us about it. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. We obviously do have other videos. We've got a video where we go through things in more detail, and we just look at each part of the system, and we go through all these different configuration pop-ups just to explain the system more fully. It's almost like a video version of the manual. We do, of course, have the manual, which again goes through everything in full detail. And also we've got a video for configuring indicators. So if you've got your favorite custom indicator that you really like, you can obviously configure the system with that. But if you've got any more questions, please do email us at support@runwisefx.com, and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you very much.